Welcome back to Pilot Ryan Media. This is Ryan. As promised, we are going to color paint with the H2D AMS. There are two inputs on the H2D for the right and the left nozzle. So we've got the filaments mapped out where the red filament, I'm using Bambu PETG high flow for this. My slot number 3 in the AMS is the red, and then the gray is in the AMS HT, which acts as a whole second unit. So once that's mapped out, you're good to go. I teased you with this the other day, and I've already done it. So painting a door like this with most of the time we just do this by hand, but it's really cool that this equipment can actually achieve this. This is with PETG glass fiber, and so I painted the door in the software, and you have to be careful and make sure you get the whole door inside and out, all of the little frame on the window and all of that stuff. And I'm going to show you that same strategy with the door cards that we're getting ready to paint for the Scout. So we make a lot of trucks around here. So yeah, we're going to get into the software. I'm going to show you how to color paint with the AMS. This is rad, by the way. And then one of the other videos I showed you, the example was a different rig, but what we did was we cut our models, even if it's not a huge model, even the 10 scale models here, we still slice these things, have to scale them up and slice them. So if you're interested, check out those videos. But you can see here the holes, and my dowel pins I made are black. So you can see that when you put this together, there's no guesswork anymore. It's just so simple to get that lined up, get them together, and then I can do my glue work on the inside, which hides the glue joint. Not to mention where we put the cut is right there in the door panel. So kind of some of the strategies we use when we're coming up with ways to print off these pieces. And this would apply regardless of what it is you're printing yourself. We also did a video where we talked about orientation, how to get rid of the plateauing by using modifiers to reduce the layer height where it matters around a curve, and how printing at, in our case, 55 degrees gave us a really nice finish on the whole piece as well as the underneath. And if you were to print it like this, you would have a crazy racetrack of plateaued lines over the contours of these curves. So yeah, check out the rest of the channel. There's some great videos on that. And we're all learning together. So every comment I read and I really appreciate. We're going to get right into this software. I'm screen recording right now already. So let's show you what's going on. And snapping this to the face for the orientation was a really good idea. Otherwise, I'll show you what you get actually if you don't get this flat. So let's go back to prepare, and we're going to just mess this up on purpose and by just putting a little bit of an angle on it. And we'll go ahead and color paint just a tiny bit of this so you can really see what's happening. And we're going back with a paint bucket, and we're just going to do select our 5 for the second AMS, and we'll just do that for now and slice it, and I'll show you. This is a little bit exaggerated. Sometimes you can have something that looks flat, but it's really not. But we're going to fix that. This is going to be easy. So go back to prepare. We don't like that at all. And we're going to go to the face tool, lay on face. And we're going to pick one of these top ones. And then we're going to pick the bottom one because we didn't like the top one. I think that's going to be it. So we can click out of there, and taking a quick look at it, it looks like it's going to be okay. Now, what we're going to do is go ahead and, I just don't like that angle. Let's see, which axis is that? That's the blue. So we'll rock this around again. This doesn't matter as much. Okay, yep, that looks identical. So that's great, you know, they're both gonna be the same. They're both as flat as they can be. All right, so let's finish painting it. We'll go highlight the piece, hit our bucket, and go back into this. And we're on the bucket, we got our angle. We're gonna put it at 13 this time. Oh, we gotta make it 5 here. 5, and then we can do our thing. We can make this a little bit bigger. What it's gonna do. We're not even gonna worry about the screws yet. We'll use the circle tool on that one. Same with some of this finish work on the small little parts. But get what we can while we've got the bucket on. And it's easy to left click and do the wrong thing. Just hit undo and use your right, either zoom out and move it around, or use your right click to do what you want to do. Too much. Oh yeah, that's at 34. That's nuts. And it highlights what it's going to do, which is cool. So now we're going to go back to the circle tool. We'll actually pick sphere this time, because the circle is going to just be flat, two-dimensional. If I do this, and it's a little too big, so we'll go a little smaller. Everything within that sphere that's an object, you can see how it's not doing the field. The sphere is nice because it's going to get deeper than two-dimensional. And again, you can make that sphere smaller. We'll do that here. We already know you can kind of scrub around with it too if you hold the left wheel down. Let's say we want to do that line right there. It's going to do it. When you hold down that left click and drag it, we don't want that though. So we're going to undo that. And now we can kind of, sometimes I like to go back to the bucket tool. Looks pretty good to me everywhere except for that little thing right there. Now it's done. And I can inspect everything. There's no red there. And we were smart about orienting it this way. And then, so when it does actually color change to this gray, it's going to be at the top. There will not be much changing going on. And we're going to do one more little piece just because it's fun. And you can see that the prime tower is the same amount of waste as it was just doing one. So honestly, when you are doing color painting like this, fill the plate up. So let's go back into prepare, and we'll just kind of dress up this instrument panel. And we're going to go for the bucket. We're on the bucket right now, right here. Edge detection is illuminated. I don't know what section view is, but let's give ourselves a little more, I like to call it gain. I got to select 5 again. And we're just going to give a little bit of detail to some of this stuff, just for fun. And we're going to end up using the sphere tool. Is going to make a lot of sense here. This panel, now, see how this panel with a smooth bevel isn't really registering? And it's because of that shallow angle to it. Fine. We'll leave it what it is. And now we have this up so high that it's actually as a bucket doing a really good job to grab nearly everything. Undo. Let's bring it down and see what happens when yeah, it's not really picking this up. Even if I go here. Now, once I brought it down, it actually is. But you want to get that red out of there. Yeah, it's really grabbing small, but it's okay. And again, there's other tools you can use here. All right, we'll go big again. Let's seem to get that pretty good. Yeah, here at 47 on the paint bucket tool does about as good as the sphere does, which is kind of cool. And I'm nerding out here. Undo. But this little detail will look nice. And, you know, I don't have to paint it if I've done this. I love painting these things. And by the way, you can see some Bondo and stuff like that up on these. If we have a print where we don't like how it turned out, instead of selling it like a kit, we'll just assemble it and do the finish work ourselves. And it's a whole assembled truck. It's more work for us, so those cost a little more, but it's not everybody wants to build a kit, and that's okay. We understand that. They're very low parts count kit, and there's more coming on that. I'm gonna do an assembly video on one of these. There's not much to them, but yeah, that looks pretty good. So I'm happy with that. Let's slice it. You know what? I want to paint the inside of these too. Go to the paint tool. Give us, oh, you always have to pick your color out. And we'll zoom in, take a good look at that, make sure it got it all the way. Just trying to kind of emulate instrument panel on this one. Okay, that's cool. We like it. And because I cut the back off of this dash, it's laying flat as well. So the slice, no real plateauing. That looks really nice. So let's see, how long is this going to take? 3 hours and 6 minutes for all of that. I don't think that's too bad. And look, the prime tower is not any, it can't really get taller than the piece is. So that works out really nice. We're going to print it. Everything is dialed in here. The left nozzle is the PET GHF, and the right nozzle is also PET GHF, as you can see here. And we're gonna send it. If you have a couple printers going, you really have to do, it seems like a little bit of extra work when you're switching between printers. You, of course, up in Bambu Studio, you need to select the printer you're using, but then you also need to click device and make sure those filaments match as well, and then synchronize it. That way everything's on the same page. Because really the only time I've ever had trouble with a printer, it was my own fault, and it was before I had two, just with the X1C. I would accidentally, let's say, I'd have PLA loaded up, but I'd run it at PETG temperatures because I didn't map it out right. And that's hotter than PLA needs to be. So it caused problems for me. So I've learned how to clean the nozzles out pretty good. We're going to replace the nozzle on the X1C and clean the LiDAR in a video coming up as well. Let me know in the comments if you want to see that. But yeah, thanks so much for coming over to another one of the Bambu Lab, Bambu Studio slicer tutorials. I'm using the X1C and the H2D. I'm going to get into cutting some stencils. I don't have a machine for making decals, but I want to use the vinyl to create stencils so I can airbrush stuff on some of these trucks. And so that'll be coming up. And then I've got the 40-watt laser on here as well. Any of you have experience with that stuff and you've got any tips to share, lay it on me. I don't really even know what I'm going to do with this laser yet. I've thought about some wood things, crates, pallets. I don't know. Tell me what you want to see me do. I mean, you see what we're doing. We're doing trucks. So yeah, Kelly and I do a live stream every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern time. If you like what you see here, that's what we talk about. Him and I work really hard to develop these models, which we took from actually being just scale models to look at. And we've blown them up and improved them with the goal of running them on RCs. So we've got a mounting system that allows them to click on any axial 10.3 rock crawler out there. And that's fantastic. That was a lot of work to get that done. And it was some problem that we knew we needed to solve, because every one of these trucks we built has been a what I call a one-off, where it's a unicorn. We made a really rad body, but how do you mount it every time? It was like different and specific, so hard to repeat. Now we got it where we can just print one after the other, really, of a few of these different trucks, and it's cool. So we'll show you how to salvage a bad print too. Kelly's been fantastic. You know, it's really his fault I got started in 3D printing in the first place. He gave me a bag of parts one day a couple years ago, and it was 3D printed parts for a Land Rover, and I assembled it and my wheels started turning immediately. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much that can be done here. So really cool. Thanks for coming over. Check out one of these other videos if you want to see how we scale it to wheelbase. It's really not a whole lot of math. It's basically cut off the front, cut off the back at the center of the arch, scale it up till you get the wheelbase for the vehicle you're doing. Whether it's a 312 millimeter wheelbase or a 501 millimeter wheelbase, once you get that digit, that's how you need to print off all your parts, and it's going to work. It's cool. So yeah, check that out. I did a video where we show modifiers for a couple different things to either lessen infill everywhere and strengthen it up in certain places. And then height range modifiers for cranking it up for the fidelity where you know it's going to be a problem. So thanks for coming over, and we'll see you in the next one. Come by the live stream and check out the rest of the channel if you want to see these trucks in action. We have a blast getting out there together and running them. See you in the next one.